Jewishnews TV. I'm Chantal Abitbol reporting. Making news this week, the Jewish community has pitched in to help those affected by the recent natural disasters in Indonesia and Samoa. Jewish Aid Australia is asking the community to give generously to provide temporary shelters for the thousands of people left homeless by the earthquakes and tsunami. In other news, results from a report into ritual slaughter were leaked to the media this week. The Executive Council of Australian Jewry made a submission to the government inquiry, which is looking at whether ritual slaughter practice is humane. According to the leaked results, Jewish ritual slaughter will be allowed to continue in Australia, but the community will have to wait until November for official confirmation of the findings. To international news now, and we cross to Aaron with the latest.
Thanks, Chantal. Over the past 2 weeks or so, there have been waves of Arab unrest in Jerusalem. The pretext for the initial protests stemmed initially from the attempt of a small group of Jews to visit and pray on the Temple Mount before Yom Kippur. However, since then, the demonstrations have taken on a life of their own. News analysts have noted that the Palestinian Authority and Hamas officials in Gaza, along with some members of the Palestinian and Israeli Arab Muslim clergy, have been issuing inflammatory statements and fanning the flames of anger. Many observers have construed this perceived incitement to be nothing more than a political diversion, exploiting Muslim concern over the well-being and future of their holy sites on the Temple Mount, in order to, for lack of a better expression, change the subject among Palestinians and other regional Arabs who have been upset over another matter entirely, that matter being the Palestinian Authority's mismanagement of a vote in the United Nations over the Goldstone Commission report on Gaza. Recently, the Palestinian Authority shelved the vote in the United Nations Human Rights Council over the Goldstone report until March. In all likelihood, the Palestinian Authority took this move at the urging of the United States, which is eager to restart the Middle East peace process as soon as possible, and was worried that continued UN discussions over Gaza would poison the atmosphere for a resumption of those talks. The Palestinian street and the Arab world responded in outrage to the Palestinian Authority's capitulation, and since then, the Palestinian Authority has been more strident in its verbal attacks on Israel, in order to dispel any impression that they are out of touch with their constituents. The PA has reversed itself and is now working together with the United Nations Security Council member Libya to bring the discussion on the Goldstone report before the Security Council next week, even without it having been voted on in the Human Rights Council. Ironically, political analysts say, while this move may open the pressure valve and reduce tensions in Jerusalem, it could shift it elsewhere. This is what we'll be keeping a watchful eye on as we head into the next week. Back to you, Chantal.
Thanks, Aaron. In entertainment news, AJN reporter Peter Kahn has reviewed a memoir by Sam Moshinsky titled Goodbye Shanghai. It chronicles his childhood in wartime Shanghai and his family's eventual migration to Australia. Kahn wrote that Moshinsky's memoirs are a life-affirming message, not just to his grandchildren, but to anyone interested in an uplifting biography. To sports now, and we cross to David with the latest.
Thanks, Chantal. Well, we're going to go to Sydney's top story first. A Maccabi Hakoah State League football side will have a junior feeder club for the first time in its history next season. A new independent committee will oversee the club's state league sides and junior youth development sides. They'll play all their home matches at the same venue on the same day at Hensley Athletics Field. They want to be the place to be for all Jewish footballers at all levels. And they're providing plenty of incentives. The under-14s are currently on tour in Singapore, and their captain, Robbie Ezekiel, won the Primo Tablecraft Player of the Year award last week. That includes an all-expenses-paid trip to trial with Oldham Athletic in the English First Division, and that's 2 levels below the English Premiership. The club has also arranged a trial for former Central Coast Mariner and club junior Lawrence Brodie. They head to the UK in a fortnight and will follow their progress closely. Meanwhile, the new board's big decision coming up will be to appoint a new head coach after they let go Andrew Prentice after 7 seasons at the helm. Meanwhile, there have been plenty of other end-of-season awards held across the country this week. The Maccabi Junior Soccer Club was at the SCG on Monday. The Rugby Club announced that prodigious goal kicker Steve Cohen nabbed the Blues Best and Fairest and Players Player Award at the Hakoah Club on Wednesday night, and in Melbourne, Gary Blyden won back-to-back AFL Best and Fairest and Maccabi Ajax's awards on Tuesday. Rachel Bach, she won the top gong at North Caulfield Maccabi Senior Women's Football Club earlier last week as well. And finally, to other news in Melbourne, new Maccabi Ajax Cricket Club captain Dave Gelbart has announced that the loss of his club's three best players means that his side is only rebuilding in 2009-10, but with that has come a buzz and enthusiasm heading into the brand new campaign. They're the sports headlines. Have a great weekend. Back to you, Chantal.
Thanks, David. Looking to next week's paper now, and we will be featuring an interview with embattled opposition leader Malcolm Turnbull, a man who represents a large proportion of Sydney's Jewish community. Well, that's all from us at Jewish News TV. Make sure to get your copy of the Australian Jewish News on stands today and visit our website at jewishnews.net.au.